Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We're going to review episode 7 of Willow on Disney+. This is the final episode before the last episode of the season or series. This has not been renewed yet, and I'm kind of leaning that it probably will not be renewed for a second season. We will see, but I'm just imagining that Disney+, that they probably want something to kind of land a little harder, and we already know that Santa Claus, the series was renewed, and that actually was renewed, I believe, a little before it actually ended. So, episode 7 actually does have some positive notes, and we're going to go through the positive and the not so good. Unfortunately, the episode kind of suffers a little bit by the kind of same trends that were present in episode 1 through 6. So it seems like these kind of decisions that were like, hey, who allowed or approved this? Who even reviewed this? They must have been looking at every single episode and we're like, this is our intent. And I have to be honest, I'm not a big fan of some of the choices. But I think a lot of that has to do with, watching the original movie, and also, even if you haven't watched the original movie, just knowing kind of what they're trying to go for in the aesthetic of the series. Some of it doesn't actually land all that well. But we've been through that, and I feel like a broken record. So let's start with the good in this episode. So our group of heroes, and I guess you could call them that, even though technically, like I talked about in one of the episodes, there's no real risk for them. Like having conversations where fights are occurring and things of that nature. So, okay, we'll call them heroes. So our heroes have to cross this sea, which is kind of maybe not a sea. I don't know. It's just like a wetland that, you can walk across it. And before they actually venture over, they discover this kind of cabin with this man who takes them in. And Kit, Princess Kit, is not feeling so great, so they decide to rest there. We discover that the monsters infiltrate that and then proceed to chase them, where actually Prince Graydon helps them escape on this other kind of monster that kind of remind me of, like, maybe Neverending Story, the turtle, because it's all under the sand, dragging the boat. And Prince Graydon develops this connection and relationship in the episode with this creature. And I have to say that's actually one of the stronger points of the episode, because you do get a sense of like this connection. But I will say that the show kind of like half tells things. So I felt like there could have been a little more here, to be honest, where I could have felt a little more connection. I actually would have liked to see the creature a little more, and maybe everyone kind of develop a relationship with it. But it seems like Prince Graydon is the only one who really develops any relationship, and we get a very quick glimpse of the creature becoming sick as the closer they get to this city or abandoned temple, whatever you want to call it, where Prince Eric is being held. So I thought that was actually pretty good. I was like, I kind of like the relationship that Graydon is making with this creature. I actually would like to see more. I thought that the effects on the creature were also pretty good, and the effects actually in this episode are very good. You get to see that Alorna is practicing magic with Willow, which is nice. Trying to prepare because of the final battle that we're trying to build here. But like I talked about, the battle scenes have not been that great, so I'm kind of like, okay, let's see how this final battle is kind of filmed and choreographed here, because I'm not sure if this is going to be, maybe it's going to be reminiscent of the original movie, where kind of Willow defeats the queen by her own kind of mistake of killing herself. So, but I do think the action actually in the original Willow series movie was better. But we also see that Alorna, as she's using her powers, and we see this very beginning of the episode, that her hair fully turns red. No one really talks about it, nor is it really, I feel like, explained. Or maybe it was, but like I said, there was one episode that was really hard to even pay attention. But there's no, real explanation of this. And like I said, the series kind of expects the audience to fill in some of the things, which is fine depending on the writing. But I feel like the show doesn't do a well enough job of that. It kind of reminds me of like when I used to film like little movies with my sisters and brothers, and I look back and I was like, how the heck is the audience supposed to know that we went from this subplot to this? Where did this person come from? So I kind of feel like that reminds me of like when I was making movies with my siblings. Now, Willow does have flashbacks in this episode, and like I said, I think that Willow's kind of story arc with what happened to his wife, his son, and the village was something that one of the episodes when we went to the castle of Queen Bavmorda, I thought it was kind of interesting. We kind of touched that, and I was hoping through the other episodes that we would go, hey, let's explore more of that. Well, we got a little more here. And again, it's a crumb, but I think that Willow's wife had died. His son runs away, and his daughter stays with him. And he's seeing these visions of his daughter potentially being in trouble. Apparently, the closer they get to the city, what the show is trying to indicate is that there's more trying to push them away and trick them to stopping their quest to save Prince Eric. So I thought the actress who plays Willow's daughter, I wish, like I said in the first or second episode we saw her in, that she would have been along for the venture. And as I see her again, I was like, yeah, I still wish that she would have gone along with these heroes or this group on this adventure, because she would have added actually another form of chemistry that's missing from there. Borman still has his jokes. For me, they still don't land. So I thought that, the flashbacks were good, but I'm kind of feeling like probably a little too late, because we're probably not going to get a closure on that to know what actually happened to Willow and his family. So that's the good. The creature, I like the connection there. I like the monsters. I do like the effects on the monsters that were chasing them. I like the practical effects that are here, and I did like the magic that they actually had. I thought it was about time to display those powers in Alorna to get a little more practice. So let's go into the not so good of the episode. So Princess Kit and Jade's relationship doesn't feel as fully fleshed out. I mean, there's a scene where they are kissing because just like Willow and Alorna, they're preparing for battle as well. So Princess Kit asks Jade, like, hey, don't hold back. We're practicing here. And then fall on top of each other. And there's a kiss. Now, I know there's lots of controversy, I guess. Well, I shouldn't say a lot. There's controversy with, lots of Disney content being woke and things like that. And I'm gay, and it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. But I kind of feel like the payoff here of like them kissing, I was just like, oh, they're kissing. I feel like there's no tension. I feel like I'm not sure if they're really likable. But I was like, okay, they're kissing, and I feel like we could be focusing on other things. So, I mean, I thought as far as not so good, like the relationship and the build up, could have been better. I should say one thing about when Princess Kit and Jade are practicing along with Willow. They have this music selection again that is contemporary, and it completely threw me off. And as I'm watching all this practice in the music, I couldn't help but laugh because it was so ridiculous. So, like, I'm watching with my boyfriend, and we look at each other, and I'm just laughing, like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't even fit, with the show. I'm not sure at this point if the music selection is based like, you know what, my friend's in a band, and I think that, they should get good exposure by playing their music here. And that's the only decision or reason to put this music in the show, because I really can't fathom why anyone else would actually decide to put this music in this show or this episode. So again, same problem that's been since the beginning of the series. Music selection is completely off, throws you out of the whole experience, or even if you're holding on by thread, I could see people walking out or turning off the episode. Now, to Prince Eric and Lily, they are at the abandoned ruins of the kingdom, and we now know that Lily's not good. The water that was in the center that appears to be like a tomato soup or like conditioner or soap product of something, but still can drink it like water, is look like it's having effects on Prince Eric. Now, Eric is overtaken by Lily, and apparently she's evil. She's probably the person that Alorna's probably meant to fight. Her clothing, though, and I think that we've talked about this in the series, that the clothing choices seem a little bit off. There was like a scene where Lorna's wearing a jacket, and I was like, this doesn't seem of the aesthetic of the previous movies and the world that we've built here, but I'm not even saying I'm learning to accept it. It's just something I'm just like, I don't know what to say, move on. And the same with her Lily's coat and clothing. Like it has an inner embroidery. Like I was like, oh, is this like, like Louis Vuitton does or some of the brands where the inside of the coat has a different pattern. Really lots of detail here. And who knows? I have no idea where she came from or where her people are or things like that. So sure, I guess I was just like, okay, I'm just learning to let these things go. But I do find it unfortunate that I'm still thinking about them already this late in the game. So it goes to show that the choices of costume and music were poorly done and were wrong for the series, because if I'm still thinking they're ridiculous, I didn't get any buy-in myself to actually go along for the party. Now, so from here, the heroes finally get to the abandoned kingdom, only to find that Prince Eric is coming out of there with a new haircut and a brand new outfit, because apparently Aunt Lily has converted him to be evil or work for her. For what purpose, we have no idea yet. And that's how the episode ends, with the usual kind of, music. And that's the end of episode 7. So overall, the episode, like I said, special effects, okay. The choices of music and then the costumes kind of threw me off. I think that as far as writing, this episode was okay. Much better than some of the other ones. But we'll see what the last episode actually has, and then we'll come back for episode 8 review to give a final review of the series. What do you think of the show? Am I wrong? Am I being too hard on it? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Leave a comment below. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe and hit the notification bell and like the video. Until next time, stay safe and thank you for watching.